Welcome to today's video, everybody. I think you know where we are from the background, but we are at Rob Dahm's shop. I could talk forever, but let's turn to him and get a shop tour.
Hi, I'm Rob Dahm, and this is our shop.
Yeah. I'm Isaiah Durand, and I have these beautiful hands.
So is that how you pronounce his surname this whole time?
Yeah, my surname
Are you
is
Isaiah?
Oh.
It's really hard for some people.
Yeah, so welcome to the shop, and like in a summary, what he just did, that twirl right there, this shows you the priority of the shop when a Diablo, an iconic vehicle, looks like this. That tells you everything about where my heart is at. Now that car was my dream car when I was second grade, and so that's obviously just a very emotional vehicle for me. But what we love doing is building cars that try to surpass something like that, right? Without a race team.
Which really isn't that hard when you think about it.
With our skills, yeah, maybe not. But yeah, so that's what, everything we're doing here is one piece of like, okay, let's try a little bit more, learn a new thing. I've run back into the garage and we like weld it up and then machine something and try something new, and we just keep crawling and it keeps working. Like it just somehow everything's working.
It's my fifth promotion this week. I don't know.
Yeah, so another really wild thing is all the cars short of this Indy car all run.
Yeah.
So
we just showed you today. We took two cars out, out of the garage, and we didn't have to do anything special. We didn't have a laptop to mess with, whatever, but we drove them on the street and
drove them and everything.
Right back.
And you saw the four-rotor
and
yesterday.
The 4-rotor was running yesterday.
He helped me push it up. Pushed right out and did some badass stuff and came right back in.
Yeah, so I mean, really the sum of everything here is kind of like the yin and yang. There's fabrication, all the electronics which are over here, computers and knowledge and experience. It's just a mix of all these balances to try and do really crazy things. And honestly, everything that we've learned with rotary engines, because there is no like index or really true guide, because anybody that kind of knows stuff about it is Australian or a drag racer and tries to.
I'm Australian. I know nothing about rotors. We keep joking that I'm a closet rotary guy, but eventually I'll come out of the closet.
I'm a closet piston guy, apparently.
No, you're custom rot. Now I'm trying.
So yeah, it's so difficult to build like a 4-rotor or a 6-rotor, and anybody that says it's not is full of shit. But the thing is that it's not because it looks easy. It makes sense, but actually doing it is 10 times harder. And so everything that we've learned to do that is like, well, why not try taking on something else and see if the same concept apply? And they do. Like there's just two of us and Joel.
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's the lightest and the strongest nut and bolt you're trying to put together to make it all run.
I have to admit, like out of all the piston and rod engines you could have picked, you probably picked one of the most advanced ones to work on.
Yeah, even though it's a 97, this thing is like way beyond. And it's incredible. But like I said, at the end of the day, I just boil it down to it ignites fuel, and that moves something. That's beyond that, I don't know what happens. But yeah, so everything that you see in the channel is done here.
Really with these 4 hands.
Yeah, and all the welding, all the CNC. We got our own CNC machine, and it's actually what Sam caught me in the middle of right now is I'm building and designing the engine mounts for this. We weren't given them, so like something as simple as, oh yeah, we need to connect this motor to the chassis. Obviously, every person can look at that and go, yeah, that clearly needs something there. But to design it and make it yourself is actually putting your money where your mouth is. So it's a lot harder to do it than just to say it. So
I think we've been talking and hanging out for a while now, and Rob was saying that a lot of the things that he's looked at over this car have really like inspired you, and like with like wiring and stuff like that, and how to adapt that to your other project cars that previously, I guess, like you wouldn't say that you were like really good at wiring and stuff.
Yeah. It's the thing with an Indy car, and what it makes, and this is why we're just like kind of cracking the secrets open. Even though it's kind of open secrets, there's still secrets. And using something and making it useful for multiple things, that's the beauty of this thing. Like, oh yeah, the top head of this motor, is also the actual chassis. Like that is the chassis. And then like, we're just gonna have the transmission be the suspension mounts for the, like all that. And then, the flat bottom attaches right there and right there. Like all of there's no chassis. And so that's teaching us a lot about like, okay, you know what, we overbuild cars, and I don't mean that in like the pompous way. I mean like we don't know what's going on, so we put like extra material, and as a result, the 4-rotor weighs what 200 pounds with everything on there. Now we are, it's tons of Bondo and stuff like that, but when you have a 1,400-pound car, you learn a lot. And like you can see over there's the intake manifold for the Cosworth, and that taught me a lot of what you'll see on the 4-rotor. So yeah, like you were saying, when I've had that for a year now, and like studying it and learning how they make it quickly, changeable, and you see the inspiration for the 4-rotor.
Yeah, I think it blows my mind that this is from, 1997, right?
Yeah.
How many years is that now? Almost 30?
That's 25.
25?
Yeah.
And like this technology is still way more advanced than what you see in modern,
but no, it's fair. It's fair because this is very raw and like, Lego-like, where this is, 4D chess, 10 steps ahead. Where, but, and Isaiah, because I get discouraged, so Isaiah was like, yeah, well, how many years have they been perfecting these chassis before 97? It's been the 50s on up. And so they're like, what do we need that bolt for? Let's get rid of it. Let's try that. Oh, it cracked. Let's put that back. Like they've had tons of experience with that. So this is truly very streamlined.
Because like back then, I'm trying to remember like what technology was like. Did they even have like CADing stuff like we do today?
No, I mean, you can actually see this piece right here.
Yeah.
The tooling path on that is a little bit more rough than the finish I could do. Yeah. So they had a lot of the functionality, CAD and whatnot, but it wasn't. You couldn't rapid prototype like you can, or people like us back in '97 would have zero ability to make that. Yeah. But the thing that I was just doing, Sam was watching me on the computer, was I was actually taking my engine mount and putting it under, I was like 10,000 pounds of force on just one engine mount, even though there's 4 bolt sections. And I was like, okay, twisting it, turning it, bending it, seeing like, okay, you know what, I can actually strengthen this area. That they didn't have back then. That absolutely
simulation, right?
Simulation,
yeah.
FEA is what they I think the correct name for it. But so I can make my engine mount even lighter than 97, which to me is a big win. That's a huge thing. Like, some random asshat in a garage actually can make something better than a one-time the pinnacle of Indy car, champ car vehicles. That stands for something.
At this time, this was the best of the best. Like, there's nothing on this car that's not supposed to be on this car.
Yeah, literally. I think that most people don't know this. This isn't naturally aspirated. This is a 900 horsepower vehicle. This produced over 5,000 pounds of downforce, and so you mentioned it, that it's well over 1-to-1 kilogram to horsepower ratio.
It's wild.
And so you think of it like, you see like those guys like a track day or something that might bring out like an Indy Light or something else. No, this is a car that I'll get myself killed in very quickly. But I won't have to worry about it.
And this was before they had halos, right?
Yeah. So
this
maybe build a halo.
Yeah, that would be the one thing.
Yeah.
Big guy like man over here.
I don't want to be alive if I wreck this car.
Yeah. It'd be like me driving Miata because I'm so tall, my head pops out above the windshield. And if ever I roll that, I'm gone.
I'm scared of those and S2000s because if you roll those cars, you're
done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the biggest spirits, and I think another reason Sam and us get along so well is that we're like trying to do stuff. We're not upsetting the status quo, but okay, hey, there's new tires out. Like, tires are such a big part of like drifting and modern technology. This car was limited to the tire of the time. Yeah. And so what would happen if you put new tires on this thing? Yeah. That you don't even have to like engineer them. Just new tires are insane. So. Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a cool place to be, and that's kind of what we're doing. Like, this is kind of the last hurrah of like combustion engines. We're like,
don't say that.
I know.
Don't make that.
I'm holding that out loud.
I know.
Yeah, no, don't say that out loud.
You know what made me feel that way is the T56 Magnum. They're never gonna make a newer transmission because there's no reason. Yeah, think about that. Yeah, I was like, because I remember when I first got the Magnum, I was like, man, I can't wait till they come out with the next one.
Well, I'll just have my guy make another Magnum. Right here.
Yeah. So yeah, with like that's why we're like, I'm not fighting the what do you call it, the future. I'm embracing like what this can teach us.
Definitely. That's cool. Why don't you show us the CNC machine? And I know this is probably your favorite toy in the shop right now, right?
So let me show you the result of using the CNC machine.
All right, cool.
So and then I'll show you because what you can look at a big box machine, but what is it actually capable of?
Yeah.
There's the flange right here.
So we'll start with something as simple as this. This is a flat piece of aluminum, and I measured and scanned all of these are the ports for the 4-rotor. So this was just to see if I could make a 4-rotor flange. So it's just a flat piece of metal, milled out.
Intake, right?
Yeah, intake forging. And so like that was okay. And then when you put it up to the engine, that I could make more from that, but just nice and flat. We started with a lot of flat things, machining them, and then where's the so then it started getting a little bit more complicated. And we're like, okay, well, this is the 3-rotor test flange out of aluminum, and so we started adding like angles to things. And like
this is for the exhaust?
Yes. Yeah. Now this is this is aluminum. So this is just chunks that I had. Yeah. And so you can see weird like learning things that I was doing.
And then this was your first header flange, because I was like, I want a flange made specific way, because I like the way it welds and it's stronger. This and that. And he actually went in and he actually made.
Yeah. Look at that pretty finished. Yeah, that was really cool. That. But aluminum doesn't work as a header flange. And so then we you see the production items. You step by step. The other one's hidden in there, but the front diff right here, this cover, I built that in a day. I designed it and machined it in a day.
That looks beautiful. That finish.
And so that way, it's very functional, like high need. Like this thing doesn't exist. We need to make it, and so that's what the CNC machine does. So that's the result. For those of you kind of more sharp-eyed guys, a Bridgeport that's kind of the colloquial name for this. Starts out, if you're a beginner, that's basically a drill press on steroids. So a drill can do up and down cuts. This can cut side to side, and you end up using, this is a good example. So you can actually cut up and down with this. That's not what it's meant for, but you can shave this metal from the side, and so accurately that you make those parts. And so I don't do a lot of maintenance on this thing. I bought it used, but you have these really nice vices. And then all these different tools that can cut different shapes.
And it changes those automatically?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I'll show you how this is kind of really cool. 5 seconds. Yeah, so I think, honestly, our unfair advantage is that we have Isaiah who can weld things and fabricate, and then I can machine things to precision. So we can make a precision thing and then weld it to something like the header is a perfect example. You have to have both.
Yeah.
Because if the header warps from the heat of the welding, which is necessary, now you have error. Like all of our on the 4-rotor, everything, all of our manifolds,
2-rotor,
they don't leak. And they would.
And that's so important,
especially under high back pressure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get that a lot.
Yeah, so you'll see this. This makes me feel like robots.
The moment it starts moving stuff, the floor moves.
So
like Iron Man look assembling a suit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it picks something. And so
that's so cool.
This is what makes modern day small person individual stuff possible. So this is a ruby tipped probe, and so you can measure things to the 10th of the thousandth of an inch. So it'll just boop, boop, and height side to side, so you can measure things. And so I machined my rotary engine parts using this, because a person like me can't normally hit that sort of accuracy. Yeah. And here we are doing insanely over the top accurate things for what we're needing it for. So it's really, this machine's really cool. But if any of you guys have ever wanted to get into this, the thing is that I bought this machine used and locked myself in the shop a whole weekend. And by the end of the weekend, my goal was just to take one of those cutters, grab it, put it in there, and then just cut a straight line across metal. Yeah. And it took a whole weekend watching YouTube and everything, but I did it, and I never crashed this machine. And so now here I am doing really complicated parts. And so we've done some really life-saving things for cars with this thing. We made shims for the diff on the front.
Oh really?
Yeah, weird. They don't exist. You can't buy them from BMW.
So do you think it's fair to say that you wouldn't be able to do what you do without this?
Yeah, but like I said, both halves. None of our stuff would
if you didn't have one or the other, you probably wouldn't be able to do what you've done.
The Indy car is going to require both.
Yeah.
Again, it's just insane. And so the 4-rotor is truly the pinnacle of both. We got away with a lot of fabrication and a little machining at first, but then our precision required the machining fine touch. So that's again I think rotaries force us to be like that. Like this car is a good example of not the pinnacle of bolt-ons, because there's a lot of fabrication on this one too, but it is more bolt-on pieces, and you just have weird issues. Like you don't have complete control over it. And I think that's what rotaries give us an advantage of, is that, you know, when you're a piston guy, there are like, hey, you can buy JE pistons, you can buy this head, this cam.
It's further developed, yeah.
You have more bolt-ons, which is great, honestly, because you can go beat the shit out of a turbo LS motor, but much easier than a rotary, real talk. But the knowledge that we're forced to have now makes us better tuners, builders, you know, and I think that's, you know, turning lemons into lemonade.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, like just hanging out with Rob at his shop and just seeing everything here is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's fair to say that Rob's the kind of person that he's put in all the, like the finance and wealth that he's earned from YouTube back into this, so that he can do what he loves even more and better, like taking the technology further, because once again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know much about rotaries, but I feel like there's just hardly any information out there, and there's a ton of gatekeepers, and it's just like compared to like, you know, SR20s or 2JZs and stuff like that, or RBs, there's just like hardly anything. And like if I was to be like, hey, I want to start being a rotary person, I feel like it's like you go walk and try to talk to this person to get advice, and like, no, go away, because you know, they're gatekeeping, or there's just no information, or it's people trolling and saying do this, do that, you know, and it's wrong.
And, I mean, you know, one of the biggest responsibilities we have is the word that used to make me cringe is that we're influencers. But when you see somebody who has 1,000 horsepower beating that crap out of that car, that's influence. That's saying, how did he do that? Like, what did, and we share that instead of being like, oh man, you know, this drag guy, you know, Loquito Killer, which is a phenomenal guy, he holds the record, or is first or second on the record. He's not going to tell anybody what he's doing because he's got other people that would use that to beat him. Where we're just like, hey, here's what we did, and you know, Sam's the same way. It's like, hey, here's what I'm doing, you know, and not that it's like, I don't think that what we're doing is rocket science, but that's what's cool about it, is it makes it possible for everybody to enjoy the sports. Yeah, definitely. When I first started out making videos on YouTube and stuff, it was a lot less of just like, you guys laughing? So when I first started out on YouTube, I was very, very naive, and I hardly really knew like not much about the things that I was pointing the camera out. It excited me, it got me, you know, hyped up, and I'd film that because I wanted to share my excitement. But there was definitely a lot of things that I feel like I was responsible for spreading a fair bit of misinformation because I was still learning. And one thing that I've always been really big on the channel is making sure that I show you guys my progression as we go along. And you know, sometimes I do feel bad about some of those old cringy videos, you know, where you see things like, you know what, that wasn't right, but at least I've got the videos that then kind of like I guess go over the top of that, and I hope that people end up finding that video that kind of fixes that. But otherwise, Rob, this has been such a privilege. You've given me some insight into how you do things, and I think we're coming out of the rotary closet soon. There has to be something. And I know you want to do some stuff in Japan sometime soon, so it'd be cool to hang out on that side of the pond. But yeah, man, I think you're, fair to say, a pretty big inspiration to a lot of people in the automotive scene. Thank you. Yeah. Don't choke up, buddy. Yeah. You're good. Yeah. But no, man, I love what you've done. The 4-road is insane. I can't wait to see your final form, the final form. Like, that's that. I mean, I'm excited for that, and I'm sure you are too. But it's just wild that Rob actually has a fairly similar background to me in IT, and like, it's just cool seeing like him achieving his dreams and stuff. It inspires me as well. So thank you, dude. Yeah, I'm glad you got to hang out not only at SEMA, which is not surface level, but just that, and then you see how it's really done. We get to spend all day together, you know, doing all of our adventures. So. Yeah, and now we're gonna go eat ramen.
Sam wanted to leave, you know. I tried him to go. He was like, no. No, no, just kidding. But one last stop for him today would be, I have a nice ramen spot out here, and he's from Japan, which is ramen central. So I'm gonna see if he at least likes it. That's like though, like you coming to Japan and me taking you to an American diner there. But yeah, how do you feel about this McDonald's? I'm a McCafe your day, bro. You better. All right, let's go get some ramen, boys. You didn't tell me you were taking me on a date. It's now just me and Isaiah. Everybody got scared of flavor. They're all tired. No one wanted the Japanese food, so. But I really wanted to be here. Yeah, it's packed. It's the best place I know of. Hakata Ramen Shinsen Gumi. Nice. All right. Well, we'll see how this ramen rates. So I've ordered an Asahi. Oh wait, they have ume sour plum wine. Wait, do they do that on the rocks? Oh, you need to try umeshu. I like plum wine.
Umeshu is amazing. If you get the non-highball one, if they just do the pure wine with the no soda, Umeshu is the best. It's sour plum wine, and you just have it on the rocks, and it's amazing.
We'll just get some then.
Yeah, we'll get some. We grabbed some umeshu. She filled it up to the top.
Oh, hi.
Cheers. No, it's kampai.
Kampai?
Yeah.
I say hentai.
All right, umeshu boys.
This is stuff I normally drink at the bottle.
Yeah, no, this stuff is amazing. It's really good. The food has arrived. I got a spicy chashu bowl with a tonkatsu ramen. Fairly simple. We got the bean sprouts, the ginger, and the negi. I asked for extra negi because negi is awesome. Never can have enough of it. And I got some chili oil. So that really brings it together. And I'm going to ask them to bring me some pepper because you should always have pepper in your tonkatsu ramen.
Pepper? Just like regular black pepper?
Yep. Let's see what this is like.
Spicy chashu bowl, fire. This is actually really good. Time for the ramen. All right, let's see how this is. Okay. It's very similar to ichiran. If you've ever eaten ichiran in Japan, this is what this tastes like. Very similar noodle style.
The tonkatsu soup base is also very similar. It's good. It's 10 o'clock at night and somehow there is flippin' traffic. Welcome to LA, everybody. Didn't even know that was a thing.
This is how Americans park, Ash.
Is that how Americans park?
Yes, 100%. I was trying to give you the truth.
This is the best parking you've ever done. You're like halfway on the freaking walkway here, dude.
I was trying to give you the American experience. That's really what I was trying to do.
That's true. He wanted to take me to 7-Eleven so we could do a same but different photo with the Corolla and like, you know, because we all take 7-Eleven pictures in Japan. Love that. Dude, I really wish I hired one of these.
No, you don't.
If I'd known we were doing canyon runs and stuff,
this one would have been it for you.
I would have gotten, even an Ecotech would have been better than the Corolla. All right, 7-Eleven USA experience. It has been so long. Mike and Ike's, baby. Wait, all of these boxes are crushed. Even the ones in the back. It's fine. Yeah, Mike and Ike's will be okay. Twix? Yes, I need a Twix too. Yes. So excited.
What you get?
What's your go-to? Airhead sour belts?
No, I like hot Cheetos. I'm a very
Cheeto?
Yeah, Mexican kid. You've had hot Cheetos, right?
Yeah, of course.
I like spicy and Mexican. You know that.
Spicy and Mexican.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm currently editing right now at Starbucks. And then playing Fast and Furious soundtrack. It couldn't be more perfect for my trip here in LA. But once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was so good hanging out with Rod Dahm, and I hope you liked that little insight into his shop and just us kind of like hanging out and talking, the kind of stuff that we literally just talk about when the camera's even off. So it was really good to share that with you guys. Hope you're enjoying Vlogmas. We've got some traveling to do today, so make sure you tune in for today's video, tomorrow's video. I'm a mess right now, but there's one thing I need to tell you before we go. We just did a restock of the OG SR20 hoodies on SAMMIT.net. So if you never got yourself one, now is the time. Go grab yourself some. We also have our Christmas sweaters, which are now in stock and shipping out, I think like over the weekend and Monday, Tuesday. So make sure you jump on those as well so you get them in time for Christmas. They are absolute fire. And then the last thing is make sure you have a great day. I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.